Hello, teachers and students. Welcome to this overview of the PARCC practice test. The test has some pretty cool features that we want you to be familiar with beforehand, so you have nothing to be nervous about and can do your very best when you actually take the real test. Teachers, this screencast is split into 3 parts. The first will show how to navigate through the test. The second illustrates the tools available when taking the test. And the third demonstrates the different skills needed to answer the questions. Feel free to hit pause at any time to add further information or to give students a chance to practice. To start, go to parcc.pearson.com/practice tests. Once at the site, click on the test preparation, then practice tests, then select between either the English Language Arts Literacy practice tests or math practice tests. Then scroll down a bit and select a grade level. The standard test navigation version is the one that simulates what students will see on the actual test. This is the 3rd grade ELA literacy test. It has one section with 13 questions. For practice, you just need to enter a name and click on Start Test Now. This is question number 1 of the 3rd grade English Language Arts Literacy test. Remember, right now we're just learning how to navigate through the test rather than actually taking the test. The first thing you'll need to be comfortable with is scrolling up and down. On this first problem, you'll see that only the top half of Part B is showing, so we'll need to scroll down to see the bottom of the web page. In addition, the passage needs to be scrolled within the web page. You might have to do a combination of scrolling between the web page and the passage in order to see the whole thing. Take some time to practice this on the device that you'll be using for the test, whether it's with a mouse that has a wheel, a touchpad, a trackpad, or even just moving up and down the page with arrows. One of the nice things about the PARCC practice test is that you can come back to problems to check your answer before submitting your final answers. Since we're just learning how to navigate through the test, I'm going to leave these answers blank for now, but to help remember, I'm going to flag this problem by clicking on this icon right here. To go to the next question, I'm going to click on the blue arrow where it says go to the next question. You'll see on question 2 that the same directions and passage are given with different questions for Part A and Part B. If you want to check, you can go back to question 1 and you'll see that it's the same directions and the same passage. And you can go forward to get back to question number 2. Because we're just learning, I'm not going to answer this question either. I'm going to flag it to come back to. Next to this flag icon, you might see that there's a review. By clicking on the review, you'll come to a page that shows you all the questions on the test, what their status is, whether you've answered them, not answered them, or not seen them yet, or whether you flagged them to come back to later. By clicking on the view, you can actually go straight to that question. I'm going to go to the bottom and click on the last question. You'll see here that we're at question number 13. This one shows a passage and will take a little bit of time because you're going to have to write a written response. Once you get done with that, however, and click on the Go to Next Question, this is a final screen. You'll notice that it tells us we have 13 unanswered questions in this section. We don't want to go on the green button to submit our final answers. We need to click on this button to review our answers. This will take us back to the screen we were just at, where it shows all of the questions, the status of our answers, and which ones we flagged. We can have an opportunity to click back and view any one of the questions, and then when we're done, we can finally submit our answers. You might be excited about getting started with this test, but let's first learn some of the tools that are available to you as you take the test. They're pretty cool.